So for a while, it was debate whether or not the actual debate was gonna happen or not, and it eventually did happen, and it did not disappoint.
I have not had it. The only guy made money from China is this guy.
$8 billion to our farmers.
Taxpayers' money.
It's what?
Taxpayers' money. Didn't come from China.
You know the taxpayer is, it's called China.
Oh, good old China. I like talking about China. And they had a mute button for this debate, and that really did seem to keep Trump in line. Only thing is, I think I only saw Biden get muted, but I was watching it for it the whole time. But yeah, that sure was entertaining. Now, the first debate highlighted Biden's problem, right? He can't stoop to Trump's level because that makes him look less presidential, right? Makes them both look bad. But also, by not responding, looks kind of weak. And this debate showed Trump's weakness, because you've got to be real into Republican politics to know what he was talking about, right? I mean, he went all over the place just talking about all kinds of stuff. And unless you're like an avid Fox News watcher, unless you're watching Citizen Pete, getting all your info from there, because I keep you updated, you probably missed out on a lot of the stuff he was really talking about, especially this Hunter Biden story. Now, I'm going to explain that in another video here because we just don't have the time. But yeah, they kind of got into the weeds there on a lot of different things. And Trump did make some good points. He hammered Biden for his experience, 47 years in politics. The fracking flip-flop. Very careful to try to say that, without messing up. Fracking flip-flop. There's a lot of F's there. I don't want to use the wrong F. But and I was surprised to see CNN even called Biden out for that, because, yeah, he did flip-flop on that. He said, hey, I'm going to ban fracking, and then all of a sudden, no, don't forget what I said about that. Biden got him on that one. And the big thing that I'm hearing out of this debate, the big exchange that people are talking about, is this one.
By the way, I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I will
that's
transition.
a big statement.
It is a big statement.
That is a very, very big statement. But Biden, he showed up to this debate as well, and got some pretty good points when he brought up probably one of the worst controversies of the Trump presidency. And I'm not talking about COVID-19.
These 500 plus kids came with parents. They separated them at the border to make it a disincentive to come to begin with. And this is the first president in the history of the United States of America that anybody seeking asylum has to do it in another country. That's never happened before in America.
Now, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, who you're voting for, but this is just plain wrong, right? This child separation policy, that was intentional, that was started during the Trump administration, is wrong. He kept talking about coyotes, and again, this goes back to the whole, the whole getting in the weeds there. No one knows what he's talking about. And also he's talking about, like, oh, who built the cages? Who built the cages? Doesn't matter. It matters who's putting kids in these cages and separating them from his parents. It's funny for some of Trump's attacks. It's almost like he's forgotten that he's been president for 4 years. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Also, Trump said he prepaid his taxes. I'm surprised Biden didn't attack him, much on that. Who prepays their taxes? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But if you're drinking the Kool-Aid, maybe it makes sense to you. And the whole thing about this is trying to reach new voters or undecided voters, right? And with that said, I think all in all, Biden won this debate because, there's not a whole lot of undecideds left out there. And the thing about those undecided voters is they're probably really not that engaged with politics anyway. So again, Trump going after Hunter Biden, talking about all these stories, all this stuff, probably isn't really going to move the needle very much, right? But the thing is, what people are kind of thinking, and I saw this poll, I want to pull this up for you real quick. This is a look at the direction of the country. If people feel like the country's heading in the right direction. Let me see if I can get a better look at this here for you. Yes, is the country heading in the right direction? And as you can see, the latest poll, the latest numbers that we have here are 19% satisfied where we're heading as a country, 80% dissatisfied, right? And only 2% unsure. That is a very, very low, a crazy low number there, right? And I think that goes to show you, one, there's not a whole lot of unsure candidates or unsure voters, right, in this election. People know who they're voting for at this point. And the fact that there's so many people who are dissatisfied on where we're at as a country is a very, very big problem for the person sitting in the Oval Office, no matter who you are. And so, as interesting as this debate was to watch, as entertained as I was by it, I think we're already pretty baked in here for the 2020 election. Now, that being said, none of it matters if you don't go out and vote. So make sure that you make a plan this Tuesday to go out and vote if you haven't voted already. If you were planning on mailing in your ballot, don't do that, because a lot of states and a lot of Republican-run states are saying that they're not going to count ballots if they show up after Election Day. Now, because someone, not pointing fingers, but someone shut down or has slowed the mail, right? Someone has been interfering with the post office, as you may have noticed. And so now all that mail is taking 6 days to reach. If you send in your ballot, it's taking an average of 6 days to get here. Right now it is October 29th, and the election is on the 3rd. So if you wanted to mail your ballot in, I'm sorry, you're out of time. So make sure you make a plan to go vote, either in person before the election or on Election Day.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for watching Citizen Pete. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, click that little subscribe button, maybe the like button, and hey, maybe just leave a comment. I want to know what you're thinking. What do you think about all the politics and news and all the stuff that's going on in our country?